Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for logging on today. I'm sorry if you couldn't hear me. Thank you guys for logging on today for Monday morning quarterback. Lights a little off in here, so hopefully you can see me fine. Monday morning quarterback is a review of Sunday's worship service with a Monday morning perspective. And I'm in awe of God, of what God did yesterday. It was amazing service from praise and worship to the benediction. That's all I could say. Um, we witnessed God's hand, God's presence in somewhat of an amazing way. So to God be all the glory for that. I'm going to dive right in. Yesterday's sermon was based on the man by the pool of Bethesda. And the man was there for 38 years. And around this pool was 5 porches filled with the sick, the lame, and the paralyzed. And everybody was trying to get to this pool for their healing. And the title of the sermon was, what was the title of the sermon? You'll get through this. You'll get through this. And so what we were focusing on was the man who was at the pool for 38 years. And Jesus came and invaded his space and had a conversation with him. And in doing so, the man received his healing. And so the 3 points, the 3 moves yesterday was focus on Jesus. When Jesus, it said that in the text of John chapter 5, verses 1-8, it said Jesus saw the man. And so because of what we see in the text, we know Jesus saw the man and was close enough to the man to have a conversation with him, because he asked the man, did he want to get well? And so we see Jesus invading our space when we are in a situation like that man by the pool, stuck, so to say, looking for a healing, looking for deliverance, looking for a provision, looking for something. And Jesus invades our space. And so what the first move was is to focus on Jesus. Jesus is in my face. Jesus is in my space. Why would I be focusing on anyone else but Jesus? And then we come to the point of the text where Jesus asked the man, do you want to be well? And the man's response was, sir, every time I try to get to the pool, somebody already beats me to it. Nobody's here to help me. And so here we see the man putting false hope in other places. Jesus is right in front of him with his healing, with whatever it is the man needs. And this man is focused on the pool, focused on other things. So stop looking for false hope. And then the final thing was get up. Move, do something. Jesus called the man to move, pick up his mat and walk. And so there was this thing of obedience that we follow the instructions of Jesus. And so that was the 3 points in a nutshell yesterday. If you have not had a chance to watch worship, you can always go back to Ward's Facebook page or Zoom. I'm sorry, not Facebook page or Zoom, Facebook page or YouTube. And I encourage you to do so and play back the entire service. The entire service was great. And so for Monday morning quarterback, I just kind of wanted to highlight another thing that I see in the text is that after the man picked up his bed and walked, Jesus left him because of the crowds, and Jesus did not want to attract more of a crowd. And so Jesus left the man and came back to the man later, And this just lets me know that Jesus continues to seek us out. After the man received his healing, he still didn't know who healed him. Jesus comes back and engages the man again. And for me, that's good news. That God will always come back to me. God just doesn't tell me to do something. God doesn't just provide for me once. God always comes back, because it says afterward, Jesus found the man in the temple. And so Jesus approaches the man again And one thing this lets me understand is that there's a responsibility of us as believers to worship, because Jesus found the man in the temple. And so as we receive the blessings of God, let us not forget to spend time worshiping God. This man was in the temple. And so that's another thing that I see that I didn't get a chance to get to yesterday. And then the final thing I see is kind of what I saw last week after the woman who was after the woman at the well, and the woman asked for this water, and then Jesus confronted her sin, saying, "Go get your husband." And I talked last week about how that was specifically the sin of that woman, and Jesus examines and focuses on our sin. Jesus does not just bless us and then expect us to continue in this same lifestyle. Jesus expects us to purge sin from our life because he addresses it directly. And so in the temple, when Jesus finds this man again, Jesus addresses sin in his life again. He says, "See, you are well. Sin no more, that nothing worse may happen to you." So we cannot ignore the fact that God focuses on our sin, that God does not want us to sin, that God expects us to live at a higher standard. And we see Jesus addressing this again. And so as we celebrated yesterday and thanked God in advance for what God's going to do as we get through this, let us also continue in obedience, so that picking up our mat and walking. And then Jesus comes back, God comes back to us to kind of see about us, check on us. And God again addresses the elephant in the room. Whatever that elephant is the thing that we are struggling with internally, with our faith journey, with our devotion to God. Jesus addresses it and says, "Stop sinning." And so I cannot fail to point that out. Cannot fail to point out that God is concerned about sin in our life. And so we need to allow God to move in our lives to rid us of this sin. I was ear hustling the women's ministry when they were here on Saturday, and Reverend Rochelle's lesson was on surrender. When we surrender, we give up everything and we go under the will of God for our lives. And so that's how we work on our sin problem, is we surrender. We surrender our lives, and everyone has a surrendering to do. I don't care what stage of your faith journey you are in. If you are just beginning this journey, or if you've been in this journey for a long time, if you're a minister or a music minister or a steward or trustee, or just been saved for many years, there's still a surrendering that we must do. And so as we get through this, as we focus on Jesus, stop finding false hope, move, God, we know that God will reapproach us, re-engage us. He finds this man in the temple, stressing the importance of our responsibility to continue a life of worship, a life of public worship. And then it is in the temple, as God engages us again, that we that God confronts the sin in our life. And you know what your sin is, and I know what mine is, and God is directly talking about that and says, "Stop sinning." So that's Monday Morning Quarterback for today. Yesterday was a Super Bowl. I'm looking at the Monday Morning Quarterback right now. So football season is over, and so technically on ESPN, there will be no more Monday Morning Quarterback, but we will continue Monday Morning Quarterback. Monday Morning Quarterback will go on through football season, baseball season, and basketball season. So we will do it year round. And so Tomorrow, we hope you join us for prayer, 6:15 a.m. On the same platforms you're on. Wednesday, Bible study at 6:15 p.m. Let me say that again. Tomorrow, prayer, 6:15 a.m. Wednesday, Bible study, 6:15 p.m. It will be in person at Ward and on the platform that you're on now. Thursday will be Bible study at noon, in person at Ward and on the platform that you're on virtually. Saturday for the members at Ward, we'll have our church conference, and then we'll be back Sunday. We'll be back Sunday for worship. We pray and hope that God shows up again in the manner that he did today. And so I pray that you were encouraged yesterday. I've received a lot of positive, encouraging feedback from those who were in attendance, both in person and virtually. So I'm in awe and give God praise for just what God is doing. And so if you haven't had a chance to watch it again, go back on YouTube or Facebook and watch it. And we hope to see you Sunday at Ward for worship again next Sunday. All right. So I got a lot to do this morning, so I got to get back to work. May God bless you and keep you. And we hope to see you virtually throughout the week or in person. All right. God bless you.